My name is Lydia Monroe. I was 24 years old when my family asked me to erase 5 years of my life with a single phone call. People love to say milestones are just moments, that degrees are paper, that ceremonies don't matter. Those people have usually never had to earn anything alone. For 5 years, I scraped my way through Central State College with no safety net beneath me. Double shifts at the campus bookstore, 18-credit semesters stacked on top of each other like bricks on my chest. Scholarships I hunted down myself. Rent paid late more times than I want to admit. Zero financial help from my parents. Zero emotional encouragement, too. But I made it. My graduation was 3 weeks away, and I was proud in a way that felt almost dangerous. Like if I acknowledged it too loudly, something might come along and take it from me. That afternoon, I was curled up on my thrift store couch, my laptop balanced on my knees, editing the final paper of my college career. Outside, late spring sunlight pressed against my windows. My boyfriend, Ethan, was at work, but he'd texted me earlier. "Proud of you already. Dinner's on me tonight." I smiled at that message longer than necessary. Then my phone rang. "Mom." My stomach tightened instantly. My mother only used this particular ringtone, soft, syrupy, when she wanted something. "Lydia," she said the moment I answered. "Sweetheart, we need to talk about something important." There it was. "What's going on?" I asked, already bracing myself. "It's about your sister Rebecca's baby shower," she said. "We've been organizing it for months now." "I know," I replied. "May 20th. I already ordered her gift from the registry." Silence. Not the normal kind. The stretched, deliberate kind that makes your skin prickle. "Honey," my mother finally said, "we had to reschedule." "Oh, okay," I said carefully. "When's the new date?" "June 10th. The room tilted. "Mom," I said slowly, "that's my graduation day." "I know, sweetie," she replied immediately, too quickly. "But Rebecca's been having such a difficult pregnancy, and the new venue only had that Saturday available. You understand, don't you?" Something in my chest constricted. "No," I said, "I don't understand." "Lydia," she sighed, already irritated, "your ceremony starts at 2. Rebecca needs family support right now." "My ceremony," I repeated, my voice cracking despite my effort to keep it steady. "The thing I've been working toward for 5 years. "Oh, don't be dramatic. Just a ceremony." I actually laughed. "Are you serious?" I asked. "You're actually saying this out loud?" "Your father and I already decided," she said. "We're attending Rebecca's shower. We assumed you'd want to support your sister, too." "You assumed?" I said. "No one thought to ask me?" "Lower your voice," she snapped. "This is what families do. We make sacrifices for each other." Something inside me snapped cleanly in half. "What sacrifices has Rebecca ever made for me?" I asked. "That's unfair," my mother said quickly. "She's pregnant. She's emotional." I pressed my palm to my forehead, breathing through the surge of anger. "Fine," I said. "You go to the shower, come to my graduation afterward. It ends at 4:30. You can do both." "The shower runs until 7, she replied. "We can't just abandon it early. That would be rude." "But skipping my graduation isn't?" "You're being overdramatic," she said. "Graduations happen twice a year. This is Rebecca's first baby." I hung up. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped my phone. 25 minutes later, a text appeared. "Rebecca, seriously, Lydia? You made Mom cry." My chest burned as I typed back. "Me. Your shower is scheduled on my graduation day." 3 dots appeared. Then, "So you can graduate next semester. I'm only having my first baby once." "That's not how college works," I muttered aloud. "OMG," she replied. "You're so selfish. Everything always has to revolve around you." My jaw clenched. "How is wanting my family at my graduation selfish?" "Because I need this," she wrote. "Do you have any idea how terrifying pregnancy is?" "Then pick literally any other day," I typed. There are 364 others. The venue was only available June 10th. Invitations are already mailed. My pulse roared in my ears. "When did you mail them?" "Last Tuesday." I stared at the screen. My graduation date had been public for 14 months. "You knew," I typed. You knew and did it anyway. I thought you'd be a good sister and skip it, she replied. Family comes first. I felt something go cold inside me. I am family, I wrote. You know what I mean, she said. My baby needs to feel supported. Your baby isn't even born yet. Wow, she replied. Just wow. Don't bother coming to the shower at all. The line went dead. I sat there in silence, phone clenched in my hand, feeling like I'd just been punched somewhere I didn't know how to protect. For the first time, the thought formed clearly in my mind. This wasn't a scheduling issue. This was a test. And no matter what I chose, I was going to lose something. The silence after Rebecca hung up felt louder than any argument we'd had. I sat on the couch for a long time without moving, my laptop still open on my final paper, the cursor blinking patiently like it expected me to keep pretending this was a normal day. My phone rested in my hand, warm from how tightly I'd been gripping it, as if it might suddenly vibrate again and undo everything. It didn't. Instead, the realization crept in slowly, heavy and unwelcome. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't bad timing. This was deliberate. I called Maya, my best friend since sophomore year, the person who had seen me cry in library bathrooms, celebrate passing grades with gas station wine, and survive on ramen for weeks at a time. She picked up on the second ring. "Hey," she said, then immediately paused. "What's wrong? You sound hollow." I exhaled shakily and told her everything. The rescheduled date, my mom's tone, Rebecca's texts, the way the word family had been weaponized until it barely meant anything at all. When I finished, there was a beat of stunned silence. "Okay," Maya said finally, her voice suddenly sharp and clear. "Let me make sure I understand this. They scheduled her baby shower on your graduation day, didn't ask you, and now they're furious that you won't skip your own graduation." "Yes," I whispered. "That's insane," she said flatly. "Actually, no, that's calculated." My throat tightened. "They're acting like I'm the villain." "Of course they are," she replied. "People who know they're wrong get loud. They guilt. They rewrite the story so they don't have to face themselves." Her words settled into me uncomfortably, like puzzle pieces snapping together. "What do I do?" I asked. "You go to your graduation," she said without hesitation. "You earned it. If they don't show up, that's on them, not you." After we hung up, I stared at my ceiling, replaying her words over and over. They rewrite the story. The thought wouldn't let me rest. So I made another call, one I hadn't planned on making. "Aunt Marianne," my mom's younger sister answered cheerfully. "Lydia, how's my favorite niece?" "Hey," I said carefully. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Did you get an invitation to Rebecca's baby shower?" "Yes," she said. June 10th. I was actually planning to come into town for your graduation and then head to the shower afterward. Kill two birds with one stone. My stomach dropped. "Aunt Marianne," I said quietly. "They're at the same time." "What?" she asked. "No, the invitation says it starts at 2. My heart pounded. "My graduation starts at 2. There was a long, stunned silence. "Lydia, I know," I said. "I need to call your mother," she said sharply. "Aunt Marianne, wait!" But she was already gone. 5 minutes later, my phone exploded with messages. "Mom, how dare you involve your aunt?" "Mom, this is private family business." "Mom, you're tearing this family apart with your selfishness." "Mom, I raised you better than this." I stared at the screen, my chest hollowing out. Somehow, in a story where I simply wanted to attend my own graduation, I had become the antagonist. "I've been thinking about this all night," she announced, dropping onto the couch. "This whole situation is bizarre." "That's one word for it." "No," she said. "I mean pattern bizarre. Like this didn't start yesterday." "What do you mean?" "I mean, let's talk to people. Let's see if this has happened before." She pulled out her phone. "I'm connected with your cousin Daniel on Instagram. Mind if I message him?" An hour later, Daniel video called us. His face filled the screen, sympathetic but unsurprised. "Lydia," he said. "Yeah, I heard about the graduation thing. That's messed up." "You heard?" I asked. Maya scoffed. Classic. "Can I ask you something?" I said. Has anything like this happened before? Daniel let out a short, humorless laugh. Are you kidding? This is your family's favorite move. My chest. Remember when you got accepted to Central State with that academic scholarship? He asked. Yeah. Rebecca threw a fit because it was the same week as her high school graduation party. She demanded your celebration be postponed. The memories surfaced slowly, painfully. They made me wait, I whispered. Exactly, he said. And remember sophomore year when you made Dean's List? Rebecca announced her engagement that same night. Your parents spent the entire dinner talking about wedding colors. Maya whistled softly. That's not coincidence. There's more, Daniel continued. Your mom RSVP'd to your graduation months ago. I know because my mom got her invitation at the same time. They talked about carpooling. My hands curled into fists. So she already committed to coming. Yep. Then Rebecca announced her shower date, and your mom quietly changed her RSVP to not attending. The room felt suddenly too small. After Daniel hung up, I sat in silence, staring at the coffee melting in my cup. They knew, I said softly. They already chose me. Then they unchose me. My phone rang again. Aunt Mary Ann. I spoke with your mother, she said, her voice tight. And? I asked. She claims this is all a misunderstanding, that Rebecca didn't know your graduation date. That's a lie, I said immediately. She was there at Thanksgiving when I mentioned it. I know, my aunt said. I was sitting right there. What should I do? You stand your ground, she said firmly. I'll be at your graduation. Your uncle, too. We'll be your family that day. Tears blurred my vision. Thank you. And Lydia, she added, your parents have been telling people you decided not to walk at graduation, that it wasn't important to you. Something inside me went dangerously still. They're rewriting the narrative, Maya said quietly beside me. That evening, I called my father. Lydia, he said cautiously, can we talk calmly? Did you tell people I'm voluntarily skipping my graduation? I asked. Silence. Dad? We thought, he said slowly, it would be easier if people didn't know there was conflict. Easier for who? I asked. Your mother is devastated, he said. Rebecca is crying constantly. Can't you just do this one thing? One thing, I repeated. When has it ever been just one thing? He didn't answer. 30 seconds passed. That's what I thought, I said, and hung up. That night, lying alone in bed, I finally admitted the truth to myself. This wasn't about a baby shower. It wasn't even about graduation. It was about whether I would finally stop shrinking to make someone else feel bigger. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't sure I was willing to do that anymore. 2 weeks before graduation, there was a knock on my door. Not a polite one. Not the tentative kind you give when you're unsure you're welcome. It was sharp, insistent, like whoever stood on the other side already knew they had the right to be there. I opened it and felt my chest tighten instantly. Rebecca stood in the hallway, one hand resting on her swollen belly, the other gripping the strap of an expensive-looking purse. Her eyes were already glassy, lashes clumped just enough to suggest she'd practiced crying on the drive over. We need to talk, she said, pushing past me before I could respond. Rebecca. I turned, heart racing. What are you doing here? She ignored the question and scanned my apartment like she was inventorying it. The thrift store couch, the framed diploma mock-up Maya had printed as a joke, the cheap bookshelf stacked with textbooks and notebooks filled with years of my handwriting. Maya stood up slowly from the couch. I think you should leave, she said calmly. This isn't a good idea. This is between me and my sister, Rebecca snapped. Stay out of it. I folded my arms. Say what you came to say. She turned to me, tears spilling over dramatically. Lydia, please, she said. Just come to my shower. My jaw clenched. Your shower is during my graduation. Then come to the graduation and leave early, she said quickly. Everyone's furious at me because of you. I told them the truth, I replied. That's all. Your truth, she scoffed. What about how hard this pregnancy has been? How terrified I am all the time. That has nothing to do with scheduling your party on her graduation day, Maya said. Rebecca whipped around. I said, stay out of this. She's right, I said quietly. You're not upset because I exposed anything. You're upset because it didn't work. For a split second, something flickered across Rebecca's face. And then, Just like that, the tears stopped, like a switch had been flipped. "Fine," she said coldly. "Skip my shower. You're dead to me." "I'm not skipping my graduation," I said evenly. "Then you're choosing a meaningless ceremony over your family. You're choosing a party over 5 years of my life." "It's my baby," she snapped. "This is my future." "And this," I said, gesturing around me, "is mine." "I don't care," she said without hesitation. "I need you there." I stared at her. "Why?" She faltered, just for a moment. "Because," she said weakly, "because you're my sister." "No," I said, "that's not it." Her face tightened. "Tell me the real reason." Her mouth opened, then closed. Her eyes darted away from mine, and then it came out. Ugly, unfiltered, and unmistakably honest. "Because when you succeed," she said, voice shaking with something darker than anger, "everyone looks at you. And when they look at you, they see me as the failure." The room went completely silent. Maya exhaled slowly. "There it is." Rebecca's face flushed crimson. "I didn't mean that. I'm hormonal. I'm emotional." "No," I said softly. "You meant it. You've always meant it." "I'll reschedule," she said desperately. "Just tell me you'll come." "You're not sorry," I replied. "You're sorry you said it out loud." The front door suddenly swung open. "Paisley," my mother began, then stopped short. "Mom," I said sharply, "you can't just barge into my apartment." She ignored me and went straight to Rebecca, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. "How dare you speak to your sister that way?" she snapped at me. "You will apologize, you will attend her shower, and this family will move forward." "No," I said, "I'm not apologizing, and I'm not skipping my graduation." "Lydia Monroe," she hissed, "you listen to me right now." "No," I said, my voice shaking but firm. "You listen. I worked 5 years for this. You don't get to take it from me." Rebecca straightened suddenly, pointing at me. "You want to be selfish?" she screamed. "Fine, but when you're old and alone, don't come crying to me." "You scheduled your party on my graduation day because you thought it didn't matter," I said. "Everyone graduates college. Not me. Not until now." My mother stepped between us. "If you truly loved your sister," she said, "you would do this." "If you truly loved me," I replied, "you wouldn't ask." Rebecca suddenly shoved my shoulder hard. "I hate you!" Maya moved instantly, stepping between us. "That's assault," she said coldly. My mother grabbed Rebecca's arm. "We're leaving." She turned back to me at the door. "Don't expect us to make any effort anymore." I laughed bitterly. I never expected it. That's the problem. They slammed the door so hard a picture frame fell off my wall. I slid down onto the floor, my back against the door, my body shaking violently. "I'm sorry," I whispered to Maya. "I didn't think it would go like that." She knelt beside me. It went exactly like it had to. Graduation day arrived bright and cloudless, a day that felt too big for the life I'd lived so far. I scanned the crowd from the staging area, my cap tight on my head, my gown brushing against my legs. No mom, no dad, no sister. But there was Aunt Marianne, waving like she'd won the lottery, Uncle Greg beside her, cousins I hadn't seen in years, Maya and her parents cheering obnoxiously, even Ethan beaming like he'd personally handed me the diploma. When my name was called, Lydia Monroe, they were the loudest people in the entire auditorium. I walked across that stage with my spine straight and my chin lifted. Afterward, my phone buzzed. "Rebecca, hope you're happy. You ruined everything." I blocked her number without responding. The next day, Aunt Marianne called. "Your mother is telling people you didn't invite them to graduation," she said. I opened my laptop and sent screenshots of the RSVP confirmations into the family group chat. 2 weeks later, my father showed up at my apartment alone. "Your mother and I want to apologize," he said. "I don't accept," I replied calmly. "We thought Rebecca needed support." "And I didn't?" He hesitated. "You've always been so independent," he said. "I was independent because you weren't there," I replied. "Don't confuse cause and effect." He left without another word. That night, sitting alone in my apartment, I realized something startling. I hadn't cried once. Not for my parents, not for my sister, because grief only comes when there's something left to lose. And I'd already lost them long before graduation day. The week after graduation felt strangely quiet, not peaceful, not yet, but hollow, like a house after everyone moves out and the walls are still warm from the life that used to live inside them. I went back to work at the bookstore for my last few shifts, stocking shelves and processing returns like nothing monumental had just happened. Customers congratulated me when they spotted the cap and gown photo taped behind the counter. Strangers were kinder to me than my own parents had been. That realization stung more than I expected. Ethan came over most nights. He never pushed me to talk. He cooked dinner, folded laundry without asking, sat beside me on the couch while we watched mindless shows neither of us cared about. Sometimes he'd squeeze my hand and say, "I'm really proud of you." And every time, I believed him. My mother didn't call. Neither did Rebecca. The silence felt intentional, punitive. 3 days after graduation, I opened social media for the first time since the ceremony. Photos of the baby shower flooded my feed. Pink balloons, smiling faces. My parents standing beside Rebecca like proud, united pillars of support. No mention of me. No acknowledgement that something else had happened that day. I stared at one photo in particular. My mother holding Rebecca's belly, smiling wide, eyes bright. The same smile she used to wear when she talked about my sister's milestones. The smile she never wore for mine. I closed the app without reacting. That evening, Maya came over with takeout, and that same fierce look she'd worn the day she'd shown up with iced coffee. "They're telling people you refuse to invite them," she said bluntly. I sighed. Of course they are. So what do you want to do? I considered the question carefully. I want the truth out there, I said. I'm done being quiet. It took me 3 hours to write the email. I rewrote it twice, deleted whole paragraphs, added screenshots, removed emotion where I could, left dates, timelines, and facts where I couldn't. I sent it to every extended family member whose email I had. I didn't accuse, I didn't insult, I didn't exaggerate. I simply told the truth. Within an hour, my phone started ringing. Aunt Marianne, Uncle Greg, cousins I hadn't spoken to in years, all of them furious, not at me, but at my parents. My mother called last. "How could you do this to us?" she demanded the moment I answered. "How could you lie about me?" "I didn't lie," I said calmly. "I documented." "We were trying to maintain peace," she said. "By turning me into the villain?" I asked. "That's not peace. That's convenience." "You're destroying your sister's special time," she snapped. "Her shower was 3 weeks away," I replied. "She had time to reschedule." "She's not rescheduling," my mother said sharply. "You need to accept that." "Then you need to accept I won't be there." There was a pause. "If you don't attend this shower," she said slowly, "don't bother coming to family events ever again." My heart pounded, but my voice stayed steady. "Is that a threat?" "It's a promise." Something crystallized inside me. Sharp, clean, irreversible. "Then I guess I'm not," I said, and hung up. I sat there shaking, the phone still pressed to my ear. Maya placed a hand on my shoulder. "You did the right thing," she said. "Then why does it feel like this?" I asked. "Because they're making you choose between self-respect and their approval," she replied. "That's what manipulative people do." 2 days later, my father showed up again. "I just want to understand," he said, standing awkwardly in my doorway. "Why you're being so hard about this?" "Because this wasn't the first time," I said. "It was just the loudest." He looked tired, smaller. "We didn't think you needed us," he said quietly. "That's because every time I did," I replied, "you weren't there." He nodded slowly, like the words were sinking in too late. "Your mother is heartbroken," he said. "Good," I replied. "Maybe she'll think twice next time." He left, without arguing. That night, lying in bed beside Ethan, I admitted something I hadn't allowed myself to feel yet. "I think I've already mourned them," I whispered. He didn't ask who. "I think that's why this hurts differently," I continued. "It's not fresh loss. It's old grief catching up." He kissed my forehead, then let it finish. A week later, I received a message through a cousin. Rebecca wanted to talk. She was sorry. She wanted to make things right. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I did nothing, because apologies that arrive only after consequences aren't apologies. They're negotiations. Thanksgiving came faster than I expected. Aunt Marianne hosted it that year. Uncle Greg smoked a turkey. Cousins brought their kids. Maya and her parents came too. Ethan helped carve. No one guilt-tripped anyone. No one competed for attention. No one diminished another person's accomplishments. It was the best Thanksgiving I'd ever had. My phone buzzed during dessert. "Mom, please come home for Christmas. We can work this out." I showed Maya. "What are you going to do?" she asked. I thought for exactly 5 seconds. Then I typed, "I am home. Enjoy your Christmas," and blocked the number. That December, I started my new job at a marketing firm. I made friends who showed up, colleagues who celebrated my wins, a boss who trusted me with responsibility instead of resenting my success. My apartment filled with plants, framed photos, warm light, a life that felt intentionally built. Rebecca had her baby, a girl. I saw the photos through mutual friends. She looked happy. I felt nothing. Not anger, not sadness, just peace. That was how I knew I'd really let go. Because indifference isn't coldness, it's freedom. 6 months after graduation, my life no longer felt like something I was defending. It felt like something I was living. That distinction mattered more than I'd expected. I settled into my new job faster than anyone, not because I was exceptional, but because I was used to surviving without reassurance. Deadlines didn't scare me. Feedback didn't unravel me. I'd spent years learning how to function without applause. Still, when my manager pulled me aside one Friday afternoon and said, "You're doing really well. We'd like to give you more responsibility and a small raise," I had to fight the urge to cry in the bathroom. I texted Ethan first, then Maya, then Aunt Marianne. All three replied within minutes. Proud, excited, happy for me. My parents didn't know. And for the first time, that didn't sting. Sunday dinners at Aunt Marianne's became a ritual. Not mandatory, not expected, chosen. Uncle Greg argued politics with my cousins. Kids ran through the house screaming. Dessert appeared whether or not anyone was good. No one competed. No one kept score. No one treated love like a transaction. One evening, while we were washing dishes together, Aunt Marianne glanced at me carefully. "Your mother asked me about you again," she said. I nodded. "What did you tell her?" "That you're doing well," she replied, "and that if she wants a relationship with you, she needs to take responsibility instead of sending messengers." I smiled faintly. "Thank you." "I'm proud of you," she said, "for what it's worth." That night, I went home and looked through my graduation photos again. Not the ones posted online, the private ones, the candid shots. The moment Maya caught me mid-laugh. The picture Ethan took when I didn't know he was watching. My shoulders relaxed, my smile real. I looked free. A week later, my father tried calling on my birthday. I let it go to voicemail. His message was careful, controlled. He said they wanted to take me to dinner, that they'd made mistakes, that they wanted another chance. I deleted it. Not out of anger, out of clarity. Maya asked me once if I ever regretted it. Standing my ground, losing my immediate family over a graduation ceremony. Never, I told her honestly. "Really?" she asked. "Because it was never about graduation," I said. "It was about whether I mattered." She nodded slowly. "They couldn't show up once," I continued. "Not once." That told me everything. "Do you think they'll ever understand?" she asked. "Probably not," I said. "But that's not my responsibility anymore." Rebecca tried one last time through a cousin. She was tired. Motherhood was harder than she expected. She missed her sister. I read the message and felt nothing. No urge to fix it, no guilt, no pull. I didn't respond, because closure doesn't always come from conversation. Sometimes it comes from silence. Thanksgiving rolled around again, this time with more laughter, more people, more warmth. Uncle Greg smoked another turkey. Someone burned the rolls. No one cared. During dessert, my phone buzzed. A photo message from my mother. A wrapped present with my name on it. She wanted me to give you this, my cousin texted. I replied, tell her no thank you. A second later, already did. Just wanted you to know she tried. Trying would have been showing up. Christmas at Aunt Mary Ann's was gentle and chaotic in the best way. A crooked tree, mismatched ornaments, terrible holiday movies playing in the background. Kids falling asleep mid-gift opening. No one asked if I was sad my parents weren't there. Everyone understood. You can't miss what you never really had. On New Year's Eve, Maya and I sat on her balcony, watching fireworks bloom across the city skyline. What's your resolution? She asked. I didn't hesitate. To keep choosing myself, I said. To never confuse guilt with love again. To remember that family is who shows up. She smiled. That's a good one. What's yours? To be more like you, she said simply. You set a boundary and actually kept it. I laughed softly. It took me long enough. My phone stayed silent that night. No bargaining, no manipulation, no guilt-drenched messages disguised as concern. Just peace. 3 months later, my life looked nothing like the one I'd been afraid to lose. It was better. I had friends who celebrated me. A partner who respected me, a family who chose me, not out of obligation, but love. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't fighting harder for people who won't choose you. Sometimes it's walking away. And sometimes walking away is the only way to finally move forward. I graduated. I celebrated. I built a life they couldn't touch. And them, they're still wondering why I didn't come back. I won't. Because I finally learned something crucial. I deserved better.